Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, ladies and gentlemen, and all in between, and welcome back to part 2 of Fallout New Vegas. So when we last left off, we helped clear some geckos away from the Good Springs water reservoir, and now we're heading back to Good Springs to meet Trudy, the owner of the local saloon. You might notice the game looks a bit different from the last part because I've changed the EMB to Dynamo, which I think makes it look much more desert looking, which I think is more nicer than the previous one we had, which is a bit more kind of Fallout 3 vibe of being kind of gloomy and grey. But this definitely looks much better. Although it is causing lag, so it's possible I might end up having to get rid of it, sadly, as beautiful as it looks. If I was playing the game on my own, I'd probably struggle through it, but I don't want to have it like that for showing it on YouTube. But it's all a tried and tested way of doing things, so you learn as you go along. I mean, the computer I'm using is a Predator 300, so I kind of thought I should be able to run all the mods I've got plus the EMB, but I guess that's not the case. Well, that's an interesting light. Interesting lag as well, unfortunately. I'm back in Good Springs. I think that's actually due to that one of the mods I have, the street lights. I might get rid of it if that's there's also something going wrong there. I really love games like Fallout because this reminds me so much of like Lord of the Rings, where they just branch out. You know, you start off in a small square like Good Springs, and then suddenly you're deciding the fate of the Mojave, a bit like young Frodo just starting out from the Shire, and then going on to change the fate of Middle Earth. And there she is. There's our Trudy.
Hey.
Hello.
I'm done being nice. If you don't hand Ringo over soon, I'm going to get my friends and we're burning this town to the ground. Got it?
We'll keep that in mind. Now, if you're not gonna buy something, get out.
Yeah, you tell him off. Huh. You look like a certain character.
Well, you've been causing quite a stir. Glad I finally got to meet you. Welcome to the Prospector Saloon.
I overheard your argument. What was that all about?
Looks like our little town got itself dragged into the middle of something we don't want anything to do with. About a week ago, this traitor, Ringo, comes into town. Survivor of an attack, he says. Bad men after him. Needs a place to hide. We figured he was just in shock, so we gave him a place to lie low. We didn't actually expect anyone to come after him.
Where's Ringo now?
He's holed up at the abandoned gas station up the hill.
What are you going to do?
Some of the others, like Sonny, will probably stand up for Ringo if he asks for help, which he hasn't. Personally, I hope he sneaks out of town one night and takes the powder gangers with him.
Powder gangers?
Chain gangs, really. The NCR brought them in from California to work on the rail lines. Problem is, it turns out that giving convicts a bunch of dynamite and blasting powder isn't the best idea. Was a big escape not too long ago. Some of them stuck together so they could make trouble. That's what we're dealing with now.
Huh. Why not just kill Cobb and be done with it?
You mean murder him? That's not our way, even if Cobb is scum. He can bluster and threaten all he wants.
And nobody threatens my Trudy. Never mind, I want to talk to you about something else.
Alright.
So, what happens if I help Ringo? And the game will introduce us to its faction reputation and so on.
If you were able to get Ringo out of this mess, you'd have a decent reputation around Good Springs. I'd even set you up with a discount.
Oh.
Of course, helping Ringo would also make the powder gangers mad. And they've got a lot of friends out there.
Not too worried about them. So I help Ringo and Good Springs will like me more. What if I help the powder gangers?
Don't know why you'd want to do a thing like that. Yep, you'd get on their good side, but people around here wouldn't appreciate it one bit.
Well, I'm playing a nice guy in this game. I never played a bad guy in these games. I should do it, but it's so against my nature. I just don't enjoy it. So I'm trying to track down the people who attacked me. Know anything about them?
Not much, other than they're a bunch of freeloaders who expected a few rounds on the house. I was able to get them to pay up, though.
Well, you're a legend,
Of course,
Trudy.
one of the great cons did knock my radio to the floor by accident, and it hasn't been working since.
Did my attackers say where they were going?
They were having some kind of argument about it, but the guy in the checkered coat kept shushing them. Sounded like they came in from the north through Quarry Junction. If that's the case, I can't say I blame them for not wanting to go back.
Why is that?
That whole area is overrun with the kind of critters that just get mad if you shoot them. Merchants avoid that whole stretch of I-15 like it's radioactive, which it could be for all I know.
So, where were they headed?
I didn't hear exactly, but the leader was talking about the strip. Fella wants to get there and avoid the 15, he'd have to go east. Take Highway 93 up.
Want me to have a look at your broken radio?
Sure, the outside looks okay, but I think something broke on the inside. There'd be caps in it for you. I do like to hear what's going on in the world. And that Mr. New Vegas seems like such a gentleman.
Aye. Do you know the robot that rescued me?
I know that thing as much as anyone else around here. It mostly keeps to itself, which is just fine by me.
What does he actually do around here?
Other than rolling around once in a while, it doesn't do anything useful as far as I can tell. I don't know why it took an interest in you, but I'd be careful. It's never helped anyone before.
You don't like him?
It acts friendly enough, but I don't trust that whole cheerful cowboy act. I find it all very creepy.
How long has he been in Goodsprings?
It was here when I took over the saloon 7 years ago. Some people have said its owner lived here, but no one knows who it was.
I think that's enough of that.
Fine by me.
Anything else? Does Goodsprings get many visitors?
Mostly traders looking to buy bighorn or meat and hides. The traders are the main reason the general store manages to stay in business. Most travelers heading south on the I-15 just push on towards Prim, unless they're in desperate need of supplies.
Anything interesting going on in the rest of the wasteland?
There's always something interesting going on, but the biggest news has to be the coming dust-up between the NCR and the Legion over the dam.
Tell me about the NCR.
The new California Republic's got the most power in Nevada. Money, troops, you name it. They do what they can to keep things safe in the region. But if you ask me, they're trying to do too much. They're spread too thin.
Who was that man you were arguing with?
He's a convict, just without the chains. Said his name was Cobb. Powder gangers is what they call themselves. Plenty more like him out there.
What can you tell me about the Legion?
Slavers, killers, and all other kinds of trouble. They dress up like Roman soldiers, so there's no mistaking it when you see them. The rumor is that the Legion is far larger than the NCR lets on, and that it's been due to luck that the Legion hasn't overrun the territory.
Why do you think the NCR and Legion both want the dam?
I'm pretty sure the NCR wants to hold on to the dam because it's one of the few places around that can make electricity. The Legion are a bunch of savages, though. No idea why they'd want the dam. Probably plan on destroying it or something.
I think that's all we're going to get from you, Trudy. Thanks for that.
Be careful out there.
You too, darling. And because I put my repair up, I can repair the radio. So that's what I mean when I said about a few kind of skill checks are quite good to have early on, just for the extra XP.
Howdy.
So you should be able to talk to Sunny Smiles quite soon. Ah, she's just gone in.
Hi there. Sticking around Goodsprings for a while longer?
I need to get to Prim. Can you suggest a route?
Sure can. Take the road southeast out of town till it hits the freeway. Prim is the town with the roller coaster straight south. Can't miss it. NCR patrols do a good job of keeping the highway clear, but I'd keep your gun where you can reach it easily. You never know who you'll run into. Off the road, you'll probably start running into hostile wildlife. My advice would be to stick to the highway when you can.
A little short on caps. I don't suppose there's any work available.
Not in Goodsprings, no. But if you're up for a little scavenging, there's always the schoolhouse. Most of what's in there is junk, but there's this old safe that even Easy Pete wasn't able to crack with dynamite. If you want to take a shot at it, take these.
A magazine on locksmiths.
If the lock's too much for you to handle, Reading through the magazine might give you the edge you need.
And the bobby pins?
You'll need those to pick the lock. Be careful, though. Put too much pressure on them, and they'll snap.
Alright, I'll go take a look at the safe and have a chance.
Always happy to help someone down on their luck. Until next time.
We'll come back to Sonny later on once we go talk to himself. Let's see what this Ringo has to say for himself. Well, it's a really good introduction in this game, and it's why it's probably one of my favorite games, that you get an instant look at the potential decision making you have in this game. So we can choose to help the powder gangers and kill Ringo, or we can, you know, help the town fight them off. And that plays out so well in the future game for different factions and so on, all vying for control of New Vegas. I do need to go and sell all of my junk.
That's close enough. Who are you, and what do you want with me?
I'm not an enemy, if that's what you're asking.
Sorry about the gun. You just caught me off guard, that's all. We got off to a bad start. What say we start over with a friendly game of Caravan? You know how to play?
I don't, and the amount of times I've played this game, I've never learned how to do it. But, did you know there's a man named Joe Cobb looking for you?
Yeah. He doesn't look very tough, though. I hear he's afraid I'll shoot him down from one of the windows when I see him. And he's right. I'll have a much bigger problem once his friends show up. There's no way I could handle all of them in a gunfight.
I could help you. What are you going to do about the powder gangers?
I'm gonna lay low for as long as I can, assuming the town doesn't throw me to the wolves. I've got no chance against the gang on my own.
Maybe I can help.
We'd just end up sharing the same grave if it's just the two of us. Now, if some of the other people in town were also on board...
I'll ask around and see who I can round up.
Start with Sunny Smiles. She's been friendlier than most around here.
Sounds good. So there's 3 different people we can get help from. Doc Mitchell, who picked us up after the fight. Let me get rid of some of this first. I picked up the sunset, yeah. Doc Mitchell, Trudy, and Old Pete. So Doc will give us medical supplies. Trudy gives us more men to fight against them because she's kind of town leader, and Pete will give us explosives. And actually Chet, the guy who owns the general store, can give us ammunition and armor as well, I think. These are important, these little Mojave Express drop boxes. I never use them, but you can send items from one location to another. I don't really know what the point of it is, but oh well, no harm having an extra feature in the game.
You must be the one Doc Mitchell was patching up. The way I heard it, I didn't think you'd be walking out of that office. I've got plenty of supplies for sale. Even got some weapon mods and special ammo. Well worth the caps if you ask me. If you're hurting for caps, I've also got boxes of surplus ammo in the miscellaneous section. They're not great, but you get what you pay for.
So, show me what you've got for sale.
Can do.
So I want to get rid of what I'm not going to be using. Binoculars I don't need, or they look cool, so I might keep them. No, dynamite, I don't really use those kind of explosives. Grenade launchers good, throwing spears I never use them. That's all fine. No harm having both. I don't use metal. Tradable armor. Nope. That means we've got money. So spoiler alert. Skip if you need to. We need 2,000 caps to get into the strip. We'll definitely get that by the time we get there. I remember first playing this game and I didn't have enough, but if you do the game properly and follow all the quests and do extra quests, you'll have no problem getting it. Okay, what have we got weapons wise? So okay, 20 gauge, 22 LR, and 10 millimeters. What's he got ammo wise? He's got 22 LR. We'll take all of them. I'll take the magnum rounds because I will get that gun eventually, and 20 gauge, yeah. 9mm, no. Okay, that's fine. And we'll take some extra healing items if he has any. Give me an extra 3. Yeah. That's fine for now.
Thanks.
What do you know about the situation with the powder gangers?
If Ringo doesn't head out on his own, I think we should hand him over. The town shouldn't get itself mixed into the problem. Don't mistake that for coward talk, though. We're a town of survivors. We'll fight tooth and nail if pushed. but we don't go looking for trouble.
That's true. So I'll come back to you later on. Wait, do you know anything about people who attacked me,
The
actually?
leader was a New Vegas type. Typical city boy. He had a bunch of Great Khans with him, probably hired guns. The Great Khans normally stay in their own territory way up northwest, on account of them being enemies with the NCR.
Huh. Have you ever been to New Vegas?
Twice. Both times I drank a lot of liquor and lost most of my caps at the card tables. In that order, now that I think about it. If you ever get to New Vegas, be sure to visit Gomorrah. It's the best casino in the city. You won't regret it. Word of advice, behave. Between the NCR military police and Mr. House's robots, you don't want to be causing trouble on the Strip.
I'd like to know more about Mr. House.
I'm afraid I don't know much myself. Mr. House has got his own casino, Lucky 38, but nobody goes in or out except his robots. The other casinos follow Mr. House's rules, so I guess that makes him the leader of New Vegas. As far as I know, nobody's ever laid eyes on the guy. I think that robot who pulled you out of the dirt belongs to Mr. House. If Mr. House is looking after you, it's got to be a good thing, right?
Well, you would hope. Anything else you can tell me about the Great Khans?
They're tough sons of bitches. Mean, but not crazy. They'll leave you alone unless you got something they want. The Great Khans deal in illegal chems. There's a good chance that most chems you come across were made by Great Khans. Take it easy now.
Thanks, Chet. That'll do for now. Let's go back and talk to Sunny Smiles. Can't go in there.
Hi there. Sticking around Good Springs for a while longer?
I'm going to help Ringo take on the powder gangers. I might need your help.
Say no more. I'm in.
Wow, that was quick. Well, that was easy.
Joe Cobb talks about leaving us alone if we hand over Ringo. But I know his type. He and his friends will come after the town eventually. However, between you, me, and Ringo, we aren't exactly a force to be reckoned with. A lot of people around here look up to Trudy.
Huh.
If you could convince Trudy to join us, some of the folks in town might decide to help out as well.
Nice.
I know Easy Pete's got a stock of dynamite somewhere. And Chet just got a shipment of leather armor we could borrow. Talk to them as well. Finally, there's a good chance we'll all end up with extra holes in us. So if Doc Mitchell could cough up some extra stim packs, that'd be great.
Awesome. Any idea on how to convince Trudy to join us?
A silver tongue would help. Convincing Trudy that we had a good plan to win the fight would also help.
So we need to have speech with Chet?
I don't think give is in Chet's vocabulary. Even with the town at stake, he'd still make you barter with him.
How can I get Easy Pete's dynamite?
Easy Pete's pretty protective of his dynamite. You'd have to convince him you know a thing or two about explosives before you handed it over. I'll be waiting.
We'll come back and talk to Sunny a bit more later on. So that's why I invested in speech, explosives, and medicine early on. I'm not sure I got barter though, which I could have used for Chet, but anyway.
So you're planning on taking on Joe Cobb's gang. It's a big risk, but I suppose you have to do what you think is right.
Level up. So we've got the speech skill, so you can say, you should help me take down the powder gangers. Bullets, explosions, lots of fun.
I was planning on sitting this one out, but for some reason, I can't help but like you.
Well, thank you.
I'm with you. Let me have a word with a few other folks, and I'll see if I can't round up some more members for this militia you're creating.
That sounds
While
great.
everyone does own a gun, we could stand to be a little better equipped. The general store probably has what we need in stock.
I fixed your radio, by the way.
Yeah, I heard it turn right back on after you got done tinkering with it. Here's some caps for the work.
And I've got barter, so that's it. You're planning on doing a shoddy work.
Not at all. I'm never sure how much is normally charged for this sort of thing. Here's some additional caps. That should be enough. Now, how about spending some of those caps in the saloon?
I'll think about it. Goodbye.
Be careful out there.
So that's why it's important, I think, to do the tutorial, because it gives you those extra XP to make up for it. So we need to have speech is fine, barter would be good, is fine, explosives are fine as well, and medicine with Doc, yeah, 25 is fine. So let's focus on, I want to get speech maxed up because it's so useful in this game, especially for the character I want to play. Science is helpful as well, just to round them off. Got guns, we're going into a fight, so guns would be good. Yeah, we get 20, nice. And I'm actually going to go with Black Widow, I think, because we're going to be fighting against a lot of men in this game. And then I will probably get Swift learner at level 3.
Hey there.
I am kind of going for a stone cold bitch sort of persona for this character. Now, where's Easy Pete when you need him? I might have made a mistake there. I hope I didn't. I'm pretty sure I've got all the skills I need for these quests.
You looking to buy some supplies?
I need some supplies to fight the powder gangers.
Now just hold on. I never voted to take on the powder gangers. That's a 1,000 cap investment you're talking about.
Barter 25. Let them take over the town then. I'm sure your business will be much better off.
You made your point. I can provide people with some leather armor and extra ammo. Sure hope it's worth it. And I'll be guarding the store while all this is going on. I have to put my business first. You understand.
Of course.
Can do.
So I don't need your leather armor, so I'm just going to sell it because it's going to take up space that I don't need right now. That's fine.
Give me a shout if you need anything else. Take it easy now.
Let's go talk to Doc Mitchell. See if he can give us any supplies. She's got some leather armor on her. That's pretty cool. So Chet's looking out for them, which is great. We're running up our little militia for this little small town. So after I do this, I'm going to go to the school and get that little safe as well that we mentioned earlier. Hey Doc, back again already.
Welcome back. I had hoped you wouldn't need to come see me again so soon. What can I do for you?
The town is going to be attacked by bandits. Anything you can do to help?
Seems like wherever I go, it's always the same. Folks just never leave each other alone. Oh, I'm not much good in a fight with my bum leg. And my supplies are scarce, but I'll give you what I can spare.
Thanks, Doc. That was good.
I didn't see him or the men with him. You might ask around town, though. Could be someone saw which way they was headed. Your best bet would probably be Trudy, the bartender at the saloon up the road. If anyone saw anything, she'd know about it.
Tell me about yourself, Doc, in case I die.
Well, I already told you I came from a vault. After that, I was a traveling doctor for a spell. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Most folks out here ain't educated, so people with medical know-how are hard to come by. I found that I could help a lot of people with what I knew, and that was all right with me. Eventually, I went back and married my childhood sweetheart, and that was the end of my traveling days. Didn't miss it none then. Still don't.
You said before something had been taken from you.
Well, ain't we all, right? That was a long time ago. I don't pay it much mind anymore.
Who was it that rescued me? We know it was Victor,
That'd
but...
be Victor. Curious fella. He's sort of odd, and I don't just mean because he's a robot. I couldn't tell you much about him. He's real friendly, don't get me wrong. You just get the sense that that ain't the whole picture. Just a feeling. He keeps to himself, mostly. You want to know more about him, you'll have to ask him yourself. He has a shack on the southern edge of town.
Huh, let me have a look around there. And what town is
This
this?
here's Good Springs, named after the water we got here, just down the road to the southeast. Good Springs Source, they call it. It's a quiet town, and that's how we like it. We don't go looking for trouble, though occasionally it sees fit to come looking for us.
And you certainly got it now. What else can you tell me about Good Springs?
Well, there's a general store just up the road, run by a fella named Chet. He don't got nothing fancy, but he's got your basics covered. If you're looking to wet your whistle, just past Chet's is the Prospector Saloon. The bartender there, Trudy, knows everyone in town. Other than that, there's not much to see. Just people trying to scratch out a living.
That's all he's got to say.
You take care now.
Thanks, Doc. So, let's get this done. Let's go talk to Easy Pete, and then we'll talk to Ringo. See if we can help this poor guy out. He normally sits there. It's unusual to see him somewhere else. but there he is
Hey.
nonetheless. Hey, Easy Pete.
Howdy. What can Easy Pete do for you?
I heard you've got dynamite. It could help us beat the powder gangers.
Too dangerous. Gonna kill all yourselves if I let you touch it. Better to leave it buried. Safer that way.
I've got the explosives. I'm familiar with the care and handling of explosives, dynamite included.
Uh-huh. Guess you know what you're doing. I'll go dig it up and get it ready. You'll have it by the time the fighting starts.
Thanks, Pete. Do you know anything about the people who attacked me?
The one in the fancy suit seemed to be calling the shots. That's as much as I know. Other folks in town might know more. Word of advice, though. If you ever catch up with him, watch out. The man's got cold eyes like a snake. Can't be trusted, I'd say.
What do you know about Joe Cobb?
Bad trouble.
That's helpful.
Welcome.
Why are you called Easy Pete?
Was a prospector until I decided to settle here to get away from the NCR. Now we'll just take it easy and help out with the Brahmin and Bighorners.
You're a prospector, like digging for gold and silver.
Nah. Means I poke through old buildings looking for working tech and such. Some folks just call it salvaging, but never liked the term. Way I see it, salvage means it's broken, near worthless. Me, I look for the good stuff. Guns, chems, spare parts. Good money in it.
Did you ever find anything good while prospecting?
Nope. Had a pretty good claim once, way out east by the river, but got run off by raiders. Eventually got too old to keep going out.
What's wrong with the NCR? You said you were hiding from them.
Don't get me wrong. The NCR's got a lot of decent folk in it. It's just that they make you part of them whether you like it or not. Towns like Good Springs and Prim don't stay independent for long. Not if you've got something the NCR wants. Still, the NCR keeps the Legion away.
Tell me about the Legion.
They're slavers, led by a guy named Caesar, or Caesar. Not sure how you're supposed to say it. A couple of years ago, they tried to take over Hoover Dam, but the NCR beat them back. The NCR didn't or couldn't finish the job, though. The Legion's got its strength back and is getting ready for another round at the dam. My money's still on the NCR winning, but you never know. We've been hearing stories about legionaries on the Nevada side of the river, so keep a gun handy. You don't want to get caught by them.
What's so important about Hoover Dam?
The dam powers a lot of New Vegas, and then there's all that clean water lying in Lake Mead, too. Anybody who owns the dam owns the territory.
What do you use the Bighorners for?
Meat and hide, mostly. Can't put a pack on them. They just lay down until you take it off. Can find a bunch of wild ones high up in the hills, but gotta be careful around them. They can put up a decent fight if cornered.
Do you know anything about Victor, the guy who rescued me?
The machine? Harmless, no matter what Trudy says. She thinks it's hiding something, but I think it's just a broken down relic with no place to be.
Thanks, Pete.
Keep your gun handy if you go poking around some of the abandoned places around here, like the schoolhouse. Critters move in there sometimes.
10-4. So we've got all that sorted and a good bit of information going forward about what's going on in New Vegas and the surrounding area, which is good to know. So as I mentioned before, I'm probably going to go with a Mr. House playthrough just because I think he's the best character I've ever come across in the Fallout franchise. I remember when I first heard about him, I thought, oh god, I hope I get to discover more about him. A bit like when I started playing Fallout 4 for the first time and heard about the Institute. And I thought, oh, I really hope I can join them or get to know more about them. Little did I know. So hopefully I get around to Fallout 4 at some point as well, and Fallout 3. But for now, let's tell old Ringo that we've got him sorted.
So what's going on? Did Sonny agree to help us?
And pretty much everybody else in town.
Well, I guess that means we're ready to go. Unless you think there's something else you can do.
Let's do this.
All right, I'm ready. I hope.
Hope the town's ready.
Time to look alive. The powder gangers are here to play.
How many are there?
At least 6, Joe Cobb included. They look pretty mean.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, Easy Pete came through with the dynamite. Here's your supply. I really hope I don't blow myself up. I'll be set up near the store. Let's hope that the gang doesn't manage to make it that far.
Okay. I'm gonna use my grenade rifle for this to try and get them if they're grouped together. Take out as many as possible. Ghost Town gunfight, here we go. I like coming in from this angle because I kind of get him with the slide, and there they are. Nice, got one. Here's a group of them. That's good going, and one more. But everybody hates me, so oops, I did it wrong there. I accidentally hit one of them. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to fire on them. Let's try to do that again. A little bit more skillfully maybe. I was just firing off into the crowd. But you see how easy it is, and you can see on the left hand side you've got 3 or 4 guys grouped up with leather armor and good weapons, so it's not a difficult mission to do. Nice, that was a good hit. There we go. And we're now idolized by the Goodsprings community. So renowned for your extensive support and goodwill, you are idolized by the community. That's the highest rank you can get in the faction reputation. Quick and easy. Don't think we lost anybody on our side.
I owe you a huge favor for this. Here, these are technically Crimson Caravan funds, but I know they'll understand once I explain things.
You're very welcome.
I'll stick around for a bit longer, but I'll be gone in a few days. If you ever visit New Vegas, look me up at the Crimson Caravan camp.
See you around, my friend. So, I'm going to leave it there with all these dead bodies strewn about in our glory, and when I come back I will have taken all the good stuff here and sold it on to get us some chips before we leave. But we've got 1 or 2 more things to do in the local area before we kick off onto our next town. So I'll see you all next video. Take care and have a good day.